viewers, welcome back to Kara's Love Techniques. I am Coach Kara. I thank all of my new subscribers and old for your support always, okay? All right, so what are we talking about today? We are talking about monogamy. Not really a relationship or dating advice type video or even awareness. It's just something that I really wanted to touch on to try to educate, inform my thoughts on monogamy. All right, so basically I want to touch on two challenges of being monogamous. And we all know that monogamy is really the act of being faithful, loyal, and dedicated to one person at a time. But what makes that so challenging? Why is it so difficult to be with just one person? Okay, so as I was brainstorming this topic, I came up with this. One of the reasons why it is so hard to just be with one person, well, because when you think about it, as a child, especially here in the Western civilization, where we have more privileges and options and opportunities, especially as a child, when you are old enough to make a decision, you're presented with, well, would you like to play with this toy or that toy? Some children choose to just play with one toy in particular, and that's probably the person that you will probably want to date as he or she gets older. But yeah. Would you like cereal or pancakes? Which cartoon would you like to watch? Okay, so now we're at a fast food restaurant. What would you like from the menu? Or we're at the movies. What movie would you like to see? You see where I'm going with this? From a very young age, we have been privileged enough to have a vast array of options, choices, opportunities. So when one doesn't work for you or you grow bored with it, you can choose something else. That's what we've been programmed, unawarely as we've been growing up. It's to have choices. And some people, a lot of people probably should not have that sort of leisure because, especially if you are one of those FOMO type people, you have a fear of missing out on something new, regardless of, you still take advantage of that. And that's a problem. And so because we have all these choices all the time in so many eras and genres of our lives, when it comes to our relationships, some of us have that same mentality. If it doesn't work out with you, I already know I can get with this person or that person or those two over there. Yeah. That's what we think. And the reason why that is because we don't commit ourselves to being committed. That's another concern. When you commit yourself to being with just one person, to where there isn't any room for any other options, it's just you for right now, and that's that. However, it doesn't always work out like that. Why? Especially those who don't have that self-control and they leave a little leeway for, monogamy's arch nemesis to come in. What's the name? Temptation? Yeah, you leave room for temptation to invite itself. And we know temptation is merely the act or it presents you with a new opportunity. And usually it's malice. So you're presented with a new choice, a new opportunity to do something else. It just presents itself. But it is up to you, the decider, to act upon it. Now that takes a great deal of self-control, or maybe not even. It doesn't, not when you're committed. But if you're not committed to being committed, well, then it's going to take a great deal of self-control to say no. And as I was brainstorming this topic, it made me think about Christ, when he went out into the desert and Satan presented him with a tempting offer. And what did he say to him? Man, if you don't get the hell away from me, I'm on a mission. Or something to that effect. But nevertheless, Satan scurried. And because of that, Christ became the strongest person we'll ever know, resisting temptation. Why did he do that? Because he was already committed to being committed. He'd already committed to the Most High. There wasn't any finagling or decision making to be had. No, the choice was already made. The answer was no. It was already no. And it also made me think about, when my girls and I, we would go out, and sometimes we would go out maybe like an hour or so away to like a new lounge or someplace. And ladies, wherever there's a group of girls, there's always a pack of wolves somewhere or close by, salivating, waiting to get a new opportunity, a new option. Yeah. And when I was presented with some temptation, they were hot, sexy, and all of that. But at the same time, I knew my guy was back at home sleeping, who I was committed to. So the answer was already no, regardless of what they were giving. But the fact that they were just checking for me, well, that was satisfaction enough. It doesn't take much to stroke my ego. That was all I needed. And just so because of that, my rejection list is extensive. It's like, it's quite lengthy, okay? A paper filled with no's. Why? Because I was committed to being committed. And when you put yourself in that mindset, it really is a mindset thing of just saying, hey, I'm just going to be committed to this one person for however long. It doesn't have to be marriage. But I'm going to just be committed to one person for the same length of time. That's it. And most people don't have that self-control because, again, we have that mindset, well, I can swap you out for someone else. Yeah. And I think that's a lot of the problem. And even when we think about like our grandparents back in the day, struggles with monogamy, it has always been. Don't think for one second that grandma wasn't checking for the mailman or the milkman, that she had some little thoughts in her head, but because her fidelity outweighs her fleshly desires, she stayed faithful, she stayed loyal and true to what it was, she stayed true to her integrity. It battles all of us, especially at our weakest moment. So you have to have that strength and that self-control to overpower temptation. Yeah. All right, my loves. Well, hopefully this has been somewhat informative to you. I thought I'd share. Let me know what you think down below or not. But that is all for now, my loves. Until next time.